Now I request our principal sir and chairperson of today's webinar, Professor Syed Abdul Aziz, to enlighten us with his opening remarks.
Yeah, warm welcome. Today being a very special day, the 21st day of the 21st year and of the 21st century. A good reminiscence that goes into the annals of Deccan School of Pharmacy. Welcome to the today's chillest environment and to the radiance of the today's session of invited guest speakers who in a short time will lit up the luminance and spread out the warmth of the radiant learning and practices in the respiratory medicine and respiratory clinical care practices, challenges, limitations, and the dissemination of evidence-based guidelines, which are the silver lining thoughts and discussions of our today's sessions. Dear participants, we do note that there are ramifying war-footing approaches in respiratory medicine by the state administrative bodies being armed with surveillance systems, securing the differential diagnostic precise tools, preventive measure programs being put at place, tailored patient care education programs, promoting guided self-care support, and to add up with these are the spearheading WHO GUARD, that is the Global Alliance Against Chronic Respiratory Diseases, all of which do contribute in reducing the global burden of the respiratory diseases, morbidities, and mortalities. And the estimate pointer is that COPD itself is the third leading cause. Despite of there being enormous respiratory medicine, there is a limited fewer new classes of safe and effective therapies available, unlike that of cardiovascular system diseases, metabolic and neurological diseases, respiratory drug development, and clinical usage is a question pondering, and this webinar attempts to address the prospective discussing elements in challenges. Here, very briefly, I'd like to mention here the unmet medical needs also do fall in the respiratory medicine category. These unmet medical needs are in the terms of availability and adequacy of treatments, be it in pandemics, coronavirus, acute respiratory syndromes, COVID-19, MERS, and SARS that mutate and give a challenging problems to the world, and the chronic diseases prevalent, asthma, COPD, all of which treatments are there, and newer treatments do require. The treatments may be ineffective, changes to be on a continuous mode, the delivery mechanisms, the inadequate formulation of product characteristics, which are challenges and are under the unmet medical needs. Though we have available treatments, their number, the accessibility, the benefits, the type and size of the benefits, the disease burden, the severity, the health impact of the burden, reflecting in terms of financial costs, morbidities, mortalities, and the number of quality years being added, the social aspects, all this are to be taken into consideration in the disease burden factors. And to the patient population, the prevalence, the incidence of new cases being swinging up, the orphan drug designations, wherein we are to meet with this rare mutant or the rare diseases that do pop in time and again. So these are the challenges. And with regard to the patient-centric drug delivery aspects that are of concern in respiratory medicine management, the dosage forms being targeted with a defined route of administration for efficacy, safety, and for desired outcomes as therapeutic solutions in patients on respiratory medicine do pop out for challenging roles to healthcare team, including pharmacists and the best practice. Best practices need to be evolved continuously, and here too is again a point of concern, non-adherence, which is a common phenomena observed to be 40 to 50% in the developed countries, and that could be more in India, and it's a tremendous challenge to face with. The issues of concern are for in medication management are said, benefit, the size, type, extent of evidence, the route of administration, the dose, duration adjustments, and the required effect. The formulation features, again, the product characteristics, the understandings are very much required for a clinical pharmacist and doing away with the clinical care therapies. The therapeutic complexities that pop in are the adverse effects, the risk, the polypharmacy, the cost, the budget impacts, the ethical considerations, the adherences, the compliances, and more that could pop up in the treatment regimens. And here the clinical pharmacists need to take care of. We have eminent figures here to throw much light on these aspects. Professor and Principal Dr. Ashfaq Hassan Sahib, a leading pulmonologist in India, will be deliberating the issues on challenges, interpretations, and implementations of respiratory disorders. And Professor Dr. Anna Murphy, representing the National Health Scheme Trust of UK, she's an outstanding and most trusted respiratory pharmacist consultant who has marked a space internationally in respiratory research medicine. Today, her presence consolidates on working aspects. Her talk is the need of the hour on the clinical and practical approaches of pharmacists to lung health strategies. God willing, more of her addition of concepts and doings build a world where all people breathe freely. Thank you, Dr. Ashfaq Sahib and dear Dr. Anna, for marking your presence and giving us your valuable time slots in airing this program worldwide and benefit our community fellow pharmacists, students, and research scholars aspiring to and working in the field of respiratory medicine. Thank you and hopeful this session is